Very cool. Welcome to our Body Electric weekly webinar. This is already, I can't believe we're already like a week or so into June. That seems crazy to me. We're already almost halfway through the year for 2016, which is nuts. We have these calls for our team every single Wednesday night. We're continuing them through the summer despite what might seem like low attendance, because I know people are watching them on their own time. So if that's you, whether you're on here live or you're tuning in later, we thank you for dedicating some time to learning and growing your business. Tonight, I don't really have any crazy announcements other than I'm going to be putting out a couple of different things in the team page this week. Hopefully, I'll be able to release the apparel for Summit, and you guys can place your orders for that. That will include everything that we have to offer, including our pre-existing tanks, t-shirts, jackets, and then of course our Summit tank. We had to have a little redesign with our tank top. I'll share the story with you privately, but we will not, it's in redesign right now. So once I have the new design, then I can send it live for you guys to order. And then secondly, I'm going to be putting up a sign-up sheet, and I know you guys don't like sign-up sheets, but I'd really like to get an idea of who's staying where for Summit and who's coming to Summit. You guys know I like to give gifts, and I like to know where everybody is because I like to know what everybody's doing, and if there's a way we can get together, I'd like to plan that too. So I'm going to be sharing that on the team page this week as well, so that you can let me know where you're staying, when you're arriving, etc. So aside from that, I think everything else can be found in our weekly announcements. So rather than be super redundant, I'll just let you check out the weekly announcements. I'm going to turn it over to Erin and Dawn. They're both diamond coaches on our team. They've been working together as success partners for a short while now. I'll let them tell you the details. But I'm excited to hear from them about how their success partnership works, how that came into play, how it got started, and how that a relationship like theirs might be something you're interested in pursuing as well. So Dawn and Erin, I'm handing it over to you, girls.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. We're both really excited to be here and talk about the relationship we have developed, especially over, I think, maybe like 3 months. Is that right, Dawn? Ish?
I think so. It sounds good.
Yeah, so we'll go with that. But it's been really beneficial for both of us. I think I can speak for her in saying that. And I guess we kind of got started. I think each of us has had a couple different attempts at having a success partner. And Dawn actually reached out to me, said, hey, do you want to try this? We kind of talked about what our goals were, and it seemed to be a good fit. So we kind of jumped in and went from there. So I just wanted to start by talking a little bit about what exactly a success partner is. These are often called accountability partners because really at the soul of it is having that one-on-one accountability with someone. Of course, you always have the support of your upline coach and your team in general, but I think to have someone you're working with kind of one-on-one who's, what I'll say, like in the trenches with you and trying to build their business similar to how you are, it really helps to have that connection with someone on that level. And then to have the accountability, just it's the basis of our business, really. Having that accountability to someone else, for me, I can definitely say helps me stick to my goals, stick to what I need to do if I know that I have to answer to someone, each week or each day or however it may be. So that's been awesome to have that, on days when I feel like I don't want to be doing something, Dawn's in the back of my head, and I know I'll be checking in with her, so it's always very helpful for me. Having someone to work like this is awesome because you get an outside perspective. It's easy to get kind of caught up in your perspective of the world, how you see things, what the thoughts are in between, in your own head. So it's nice to have that outside perspective. And then kind of like I was talking about with the accountability, usually with a success partner, you're going to have regular check-ins. So that could be daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you decide with your success partner. For Dawn and I think she may go into it a little bit more, but we typically do weekly calls, and then we're texting or voice messaging each other frequently. So basically when we check in, especially on our weekly calls, we kind of have a loose agenda, I'll say. We usually touch base, check in just to see how things are going in general. But we'll do kind of a week in review and say, okay, how did your week go? Did you meet the goals you had? What were your failures? So what things didn't work out as well as you were hoping? kind of talk about those back and forth, and talk about maybe how to improve. So we kind of give each other ideas, and just a sounding board for the other. So that's really helpful, again, to have an outside perspective in those cases. And then we basically always wrap up our call with establishing goals for the end of for the next week to come. And so that is a perfect way to set the stage for the week for ourselves, and a great place to pick up when we meet again the next week. And like I said, we're constantly during those between calls, texting, using Facebook Messenger, especially the voice memos have been really nice. It gives that, that personal communication a little bit more than texting, which we all know about. So that's kind of what a success partner is, and a little more specifically how we've defined it. I'm going to try to share my screen because I want to talk a little bit about how to find the right success partner. So let me try this here. Okay. And so I put together just a little graphic. Can you guys see the how to find the right success partner graphic? Yeah? Okay. So this, I just kind of wanted to run through these bullet points. Since I defined a success partner, I wanted to talk about who then would make a good success partner to really kind of meet those criteria to really help you, hold you accountable, and get you to where you want to be going. So the first one is this person should not be your spouse or someone close to you. And really the reasoning behind that is, one, we do want this to be an outside perspective. So Dawn and I, of course, knew each other. I would consider her a friend. But as we dive in deeper into our relationship, we get to know each other better, and she brings a different perspective than I do. So it's nice to have someone outside of your close-knit circle be this person. Also, if you're really going to make progress and have a really beneficial success partner, you're going to have to be open and able to accept criticism from them, because that's how you're going to grow. And so you're going to have to really be able to hear some honest feedback from that person. And sometimes I think we can all relate to the fact that having criticism from maybe our spouse or someone really close to us doesn't always settle well. And so it's better if we just kind of avoid those types of people in our life in terms of a success partner. So the next one sounds kind of odd when you first hear it, but you want this person to be more driven than you. So Dawn and I kind of laughed at this today, because she's like, well, I don't know. I don't think I'm that. I'm like, oh, I think you're that, because it's all about perspective. I like I told Dawn, I see her say she wants to do something, and then she's done it. And so that, to me, like I told her, I was like, that's what I need more of in my life, that go-do attitude. And I see her, achieving the things she wants to achieve. So it's all about the perspective, and you want to be challenged by the other person. And so you can mutually feel that each person is, more driven than you are. And it works out well that way. The next thing is someone you like and trust. So to me, this is kind of trusting your gut. Do you feel like your personalities jive? Do you feel like you would enjoy, chatting with this person daily? Just considering that, and like I said, trusting your gut is always a good thing to consider. Just how compatible you are. You also want to have that ability to trust this person, because it's going to be a mutually beneficial relationship. You don't want someone to have their interests ahead of yours. It's got to be recognized that each of you should be benefiting from this, and so you each are going to have to give and you'll receive. So that's kind of a trust level thing as well. The next bullet point is your success partner should be in a similar stage of their business as you are. So what I mean by this, for example, Dawn and I we have some big goals for the year, but one of those being that we're shooting to be 2-star diamonds. So that's a similar goal. We also have what I would call a similar, kind of like a similar team. Like we're kind of in the same stage. We have a young team. We're both diamonds, but we're growing our team still. And so that basically means that we have a lot of the same goals in terms of getting to that bigger goal of hitting 2-star diamond. And so having similar goals means that we have a lot of similar action steps. So we have a lot of types of projects or things we're working on to implement in order to make those goals happen. So it works really well for us to support each other as we're going through those things simultaneously. The next bullet point is comparing your strengths and weaknesses. So Dawn and I, and she'll talk a little bit more about this, but I believe we do share quite a few similarities. Jenny also thought the same from, working with both of us. And we've actually explored a few personality style and the Strengths Finder we did. So we found that we do have some similarities, but we also differ in places that are really important. So one, I would say, you want to complement each other. So you want your strengths to complement the other person's weaknesses and vice versa. So, and this is important because where you may need to be pushed, if that's the strength of the other person, it's going to help you, grow that. I know we need to focus on our strengths, but if they do something well, they may be able to give you maybe an easier way to implement something or a better way to approach a problem or something like that. It's going to just allow you to grow overall and benefit from having that person's input. So that's something I think Dawn will talk a little bit more about, but definitely it's been important and helpful in our relationship for sure. And finally, you just want to make sure that each of the people involved in the partnership have a similar commitment to it. One of the things we did up front, and Dawn will also talk about this, is just setting expectations. So what do you want to get out of this relationship? How much time are you willing to commit? And things like that. And to be honest, like I said, we've each had a few success partners in the past, and a lot of times this point is where they may fall through because the level of commitment isn't there. Right now, Dawn and I, she is able to be flexible enough to, we have our phone calls each week during the middle of the day on my lunch break since I work full time. So she's been able to be flexible with my schedule, and so that's worked out really well for us. So these things are important to consider for the longevity of the relationship. So that's just something to think about, and those are all points I think that are important to consider as you're choosing the right success partner. And so I'm going to toss it over to Dawn to kind of dive a little bit deeper into how things work for us.
Okay. So I do want to touch quick on different partners at different times. I felt like I was a success partner failure. I even almost didn't reach out to Erin because I was like, I am just going to fail her too. And it really comes down to different times in your life, different needs that you need at that moment. And like she said, schedules are a lot of it. Me and Katie were success partners for a while. And the reason I'm saying this is because it didn't end like this terrible whatever. It just didn't work out. She needed something early in the morning to talk back and forth with. Like that's when our calls were going to be. And I'm with Jenny. I would sleep till 8 or later if I could. So for me personally, it just didn't work out. The other thing is, like she said, we work well together because we do have similarities, but differences. So you cannot be a clone of your partner. It won't work, especially if you are unorganized. You would have two unorganized people that would get nothing done. Some of our similarities that me and Erin have, which are helpful, and some of you may not understand some of these terms because this is from the Strength Finder, which I would suggest you doing when you find a success partner. But we both are what you call developers. So we're very good about brainstorming. I love coming up with ideas. I lack follow through or putting it into action and planning. And so Erin is a learner. So Erin's like, okay, so I'm going to research this and then we'll come up with a plan. So she helps me with that. She's great with that. The other thing I was joking with is she's going to talk about what our partnership looks like for the future or what we're hoping for in the future. And she goes, do you want to say anything about this? And I said, I don't know. You're the futurist. I have no idea. So we talk to each other in Strength Finder language. But So that's one thing that I really appreciate her is she does think future. I think very like here and now. And I appreciate that because sometimes I get bogged down with life and like Monday was a terrible day and I was just consumed with that. And she helps me refocus to not just what is today. Today was bad, but tomorrow's a new day and we're going to keep going. And we both share positivity. So one thing I'm learning from the Strength Finders, and I know this webinar is not about Strength Finders, but positive people, something that I would like you guys to know about positive people, we are not positive all the time. Just because we're positive doesn't mean we're positive all the time. So there are times where our positivity has ran out, especially if we are around people that do not share our positivity. So it's great to have a partner that is a positive person, because when yours has ran out, you can fall back on that partner to help talk you through it and speak love and positivity into you. So you want strengths that are similar, but you also need strengths that are different. You need someone that is going to have that perspective, someone that's going to speak truth to you. Me and Erin both struggle with some of the similar demons or battles. And so it's nice to have someone to talk through with that. And when we're learning in our personal development how to work through those demons, we share that. And so we make each other better. It's like a marriage, honestly. Like, Erin married me, except the divorce rate for me is a little higher. But it's a marriage. You're going to have to work at it. Just because you find someone that's willing to be your partner doesn't mean that it's going to be all roses. You're going to have to work for it. And one of the things Jenny had mentioned that she wanted us to say, which is brilliant, is you need to give each other an out. So say you find a partner and you want to give it a go, say, let's try this for a month. And if it's just not working, if we're not growing, or the time schedule just doesn't work, that's okay. I still love you, but maybe we need to find a different partner. And with that, also, when you go to find your partner, I'm going to suggest that you don't just post in the Body Electric page, I want an accountability partner. I didn't do that. I reached out to Erin, which is scary. I know that's scary. They may say no, but they might say yes. But what happens is if you just put it in the Body Electric page and you don't say what your expectations are right off the bat, you're going to get a lot of people that, oh, yes, that sounds good. I'll be your partner. And they might have different expectations than you. So when me and Erin went into this, I simply messaged her and I said, hey, Erin, I've been through a couple accountability partners before. I really feel like I need someone to help keep me accountable. I feel like your strengths can help offset my weaknesses. And I feel like we're in the same place. Now, you don't both have to be diamonds. You don't both have to be emeralds, but you need to be similar because you need to be able to challenge each other. Obviously, like a 5-star diamond and a new coach, maybe not so good. Because the 5-star diamond is probably not going to be challenged as much, and the new coach is going to be completely overwhelmed by the 5-star diamond. So just wanted to put that in. But setting expectations, let's talk about that. How often are you going to communicate with this partner? Is it going to be daily? Is it going to be weekly? Originally, me and Erin talked about, like, I need daily motivation or just check-in. Now, that doesn't mean that we're on the phone every day for 30 minutes at all. It's like, hey, how's your day going? Did you do what you said you were going to do? And for instance, I struggle with follow-through. So a lot of times I write out my monthly goals, and Erin, who is brilliant, she's like, so how are you going to put those into action? So I said, listen, if I do not text you by tonight at 5 p.m., call me out on it. So, are you going to text daily? When are your calls going to be? And do they work for both of you? How long are your calls going to be? Me and Erin, we can't talk more than 30 minutes because we do it through her lunch break. Occasionally, I get the privilege of talking to her for an hour because she took off and went home. But 30 minutes. So 30 minutes goes by really quickly. That's why you need to be focused and have those expectations. So what are you going to talk about on your call? Almost the same things that if you have one calls with Jenny, you would talk about, you just might go into a little more detail. So where are you in Success Club? Do you have prospects? Are you inviting? How is your team doing? What does your downline look like? How are your workers doing? What's working in your team? We have groups, we have Body Electric group, but me and Erin have our own little groups on Facebook because we're diamonds and we have teams. And so, we are the leader for our team. And so what's working in your group? And then we check in, how is your week? What are some good things? What are some not good things? And how can we fix that? On my computer. There we go. We talk quite a bit on personal development because I think I struggle most with personal development, not in the aspect of not doing it, but really struggling with what I should be reading when. And so we talk about what we're reading, and the benefit of doing that is it's like reading two things at one time. Because if she's reading something that's really struck her or gave her a great idea and she is trying to implement it and is sharing that with me, then I'm learning from her personal development too. So we share our personal development and our action steps for personal development because we all know that it doesn't matter if you only read 10 pages a day if you're not putting it into practice. So this is what I'm reading. This is how I'm going to implement it. We both like to brainstorm and plan. So I think maybe half of our time is dreaming. I don't know, about free groups or we co-led our own challenge group last month and we tried that. So that was something different. We tried to break off of the Body Electric group just to try something new to see how that would go. We brainstormed and we actually did an event for our challenge group. So we were practicing and brainstorming and trying that to see how that would go. And then we do end with what are your action steps for the next week and how can I support you? Because that's our goal too. It's not just about what we get out of this relationship, but how can we pour into the partner? So I think I covered everything and I hope I didn't babble. So Erin, you want to take it back?
Absolutely. So I feel like we both get a lot of benefit out of this relationship. It allows us to grow, in our business, personal development, pushes us to step up, try new things, and it really stems a lot from the accountability of the relationship. I also feel that you get, sometimes when something's going on in my business, I can of course talk to, our team and everything, but to be able to have one person to kind of go to vent, I don't want to be a negative Nancy in our team and bring everybody down, but sometimes it's helpful just to get it off your chest. And when it's a fellow coach, she's going to get it a lot more than maybe one of my friends who's not in the coaching business. And so beyond the business aspects, kind of just the personal friendship that develops is also really helpful. Just like Dawn kind of mentioned, we've struggled with different things, each of us has, and to be able to reach out and get that uplifting response from someone who does understand is so helpful in multiple ways. So that's just one thing I also wanted to add as a benefit. So talking a little bit just about the future of our partnership and everything, I think we go into it with expectations and everything. And we're constantly talking about the future, not only about our weekly goals, but or each month we're saying what our monthly goals are and establishing action steps with that. Yearly goals, we talk about those. And we both have when I first started, this BHAG, I think it's some kind of big ass goal in Beachbody. And so I had what mine was, and we kind of share that as we go through, because it's kind of the guiding light and the ultimate vision for each of us. So that really fuels a lot of our partnership and what we decide to do within our partnership and the work that we're doing. So in considering the future, I really just think, it's working well for us now. I think we are, open with the relationship and respectful of the fact that sometimes, a relationship is right or a success partnership is maybe not right anymore. So we're constantly considering and evaluating, are we still benefiting each other? Are we still growing? Is this still helpful to each of us? And so I think as we move forward, we'll continue to be just aware of that. And, thinking about it, because we've worked together for 3 months, but, I think the relationship that we've built will always be there. If maybe one of us grows past the other, or maybe advances rank faster than the other, then maybe it wouldn't be a good working relationship anymore. But we'll constantly just be aware of that and be open to that fact and respectful of that. But I do think that, it's been very beneficial so far, and it'll continue to be beneficial. And like I said, the relationship we've built in general, the friendship will always be there. So I think it's just looking to the future. You kind of take it as you go and just be aware that, things can change. We can grow at different paces, and we'll deal with it when we get there. So if you guys have any questions, I'm sure Dawn and I know I would be happy to answer them, or if you want to share any thoughts or anything that you have.
I think you guys did a great job. I've really liked seeing you guys work together. It's kind of funny that that Dawn did reach out to you, Erin, because I was having, and I still have, weekly calls with each of you individually, and it never dawned on me to recommend that you guys contact each other and utilize each other as success partners. So it was kind of a cool thing that just sort of organically happened. But what's interesting is I would totally agree that you guys seem to be, at least up until this point, a match made in heaven, as far as you have similar strengths, but also you complement each other's weaknesses. So there are a few things that I wanted to point out while you guys are thinking of questions, because hopefully you guys have questions to ask them. And I made some notes myself. So the first thing that I wanted to say is I've probably had, in this business, I bet I've had 20 success partners. Sometimes they were given to me, like, you're going to work with this person. And sometimes they were people that I sought out myself. And I've been in success partnerships where I felt like I was the one helping or coaching the other person. Dominantly, most of my time spent was helping them, and I wasn't really getting much help in return. I've also felt the opposite way, where I'm getting coached more than I'm able to help. So I think you guys touched on a lot of really, powerful aspects of that success partnership. But I think it's important. One thing that I think is cool that you guys have figured out is the strengths finder thing. So I just wanted to kind of like re-mention that to everybody, because if you're not working with a success partner, then we can talk about how you can go about doing that. But I agree with Dawn that one of the first things that you should do as a pair is take that strengths finder assessment and figure out what your strengths are, and then how they complement the other person, right? Because if you know that and you have that awareness headed into your relationship, then you can do more with it, right? Like, what to expect, and you can kind of, if you know the other person is really good at something, then you can ask them for input on that particular type of thing.
Jenny?
So complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses, making sure that you're of equal benefit to the other person. One thing that I wanted to point out is that I think it was Erin's graphic, said something about, being at similar stages in the business. And I would agree with that as well. But I want to make sure you guys know that it has nothing to do with rank, right? It has nothing your stage in the business has nothing to do with rank. So I've actually had a success partner. She and I had the identical rank of 6-star diamond, and we didn't work well together because even though we were the same rank, we were at two totally different stages of our business. We had 2 totally different things going on, right? So don't think that your stage in your business is necessarily your rank. Typically, you want to be working with somebody who has similar business weaknesses as you, so that you can brainstorm and try to come up with ways of proceeding. So let me give an example of what I mean. So Erin and Dawn, they mentioned briefly that they ran what did you guys run? Was it a sneak peek group or something? You ran to our free group? I don't know. You might have done both.
We did a sneak peek. Well, we did like an event.
Yeah.
Like a 5-day event leading into our challenge group. So it was like what a challenge group is, that kind of thing. And then we led a group together.
So I love that you guys did that together. It's kind of like the same reason why we have team-led challenge groups, because do you guys really want to lead a group of like 1 or 2 people, of your own customers? Right? Why not partner with somebody else or partner with the team and then lead a larger group? So you can kind of like merge your weaknesses. Both of them were coming to me individually, talking to me about needing to improve their recruitment numbers, right? Like needing to make 3 Lives Club more consistent, needing, the same types of business weaknesses is what brought them together. But their personalities and their strengths as leaders were complementary to each other. So I wanted to bring that up to you. Okay, the other thing is, we need accountability in our fitness. Like that's what we're preaching every single day, is that we need accountability in our fitness and in our nutrition, but we also need it in our business. So if you're not working with somebody right now, aside from just your upline, you could be missing out, because I know these two, not only has their friendship grown, but I know that their businesses has grown in the areas that it was once weaker than it is now, right? Like they've strengthened those areas and they're just continuing to. So we need accountability in our fitness, but we also need it in our business. It doesn't have to be a coach on our team, but you need to be talking with somebody in the realm of accountability. Okay, I know I've talked a lot. Does anybody have any questions?
Jenny, I was going to mention too with the Strength Finder, in the book, when you go to each different strength, there is a place where it says when you're working with someone with this strength, how to make them a better whatever. So that's one thing that I've really enjoyed too. It's not just knowing what Erin's strengths are, but how can I help her be stronger in that strength?
Right. That's cool. Very cool. I liked that you talked about, your agenda of like what you guys talk about. As you were going through those items, I realized that everything you mentioned was a vital behavior. So it sounds like when you do your check-ins, you're checking in on the individual vital behaviors, and you're also kind of having a reflection moment of what's working and what's not working. So you're kind of opening up, you're leaving it honest, and you're reporting in on those vital behaviors. Because usually if something's off in our business, that means something's off with one of those vital behaviors. So it makes sense that that is your agenda. And really, I think I know one question that I was hoping one of you would ask, and I might be jumping the gun, but I was hoping someone would ask this question, which is, how do I go about finding the right success partner, right? Like that's like the most common question. In my opinion, I equate that question to, how do I go about finding my future spouse? Like, how do I go about finding that perfect someone? And the truth is that you've got to date around. Okay, so you're going to have to date around. So Dawn she might have mentioned it as a higher divorce rate, but really she's just a really good dater. So she's figured out who she works best with, right? So it's just like dating. And I think that that's how you have to approach this success partner relationship, right? Like you have to, like they said, you have to interview the other person. You got to take them out on a date. You got to wine and dine them a little bit, get to know them authentically, make sure it's somebody you want to work with, ask them questions about how they work, what their schedule is. If you can, like they were giving you guys the points to talk about, ask those questions and then give the other person an out. Give them a way of saying, okay, I really like the way this is going. Let's take it step by step. Let's go on another date, right? And just take it on a date by date relationship or basis, right? And then at some point, if it's not working out anymore, you can end that and just be friends. So I think it's really cool. I used to be, I'm similar to Dawn. I had lots of success partners, and I actually felt like I needed to get like my life coaching certification at one point, because I felt like I was life coaching people more than I was benefiting from anything. But I feel like I found a good one now, at least for where I am right now in my business. And it's the coolest part about it is that it's like Erin said, you finally have somebody that you can then share in all those small victories and those smaller struggles, right? So like if you're going through a smaller struggle, you don't necessarily want to always reach out to your upline or always complain or whine or whatever. But if you have that person that you can confide in and complain to on a small scale, right? Then when you have a victory and something cool happens on a small scale, you can also celebrate that with them too. So I'm seeing that with my success partner. She and I text every day. The fact that I found my winning ad for Facebook today, I texted her about it, and we had this small little like, yay, right? If I would have texted my upline, she'd have been like, what? Like, who cares, right? And so it's not that I don't care about you as your upline, but I think it's really cool to have a partnership and a relationship with somebody else who's equally as invested, because you have something to offer them and they have something to offer you. So any questions, you guys? I'm going to give it like 2 more minutes. So if you guys have anything to ask Erin and Dawn, fire away.
I missed the beginning of the call, so you might have covered this, but do you set like agendas together beforehand, or do you just have your own set of like talking points that you come with?
I would say Dawn kind of covered it in a little more detail, but I think typically our calls kind of start with the week in review. So we call each other weekly for about 30 minutes a week. So we just kind of catch up on how did your week go? How did your goals go? What worked? What didn't? The things that didn't work, how do you feel like you could improve on those? And we kind of brainstorm on that. And then we usually, like Jenny was saying, kind of touch base on vital behaviors is a big thing. We also brainstorm on, okay, well, what's something we can try to do, something new, or something we need to implement that's a little bit, a next step up from the vital behaviors. That's usually a pretty constant theme. And then we usually close our call by identifying goals for the next week, and just so that we can support each other on those as we go through the week, and then it sets us up for the next call. Does that kind of answer your question? Okay.
I'm going to throw something out there, and I know that you guys have made it work from, talking on Erin's lunch hour, so this might not be doable for you guys specifically, but I'm going to throw it out for anybody else. If you have the ability to Zoom with your success partner on a weekly or monthly basis, I highly recommend it. It's something that my success partner asked me to do, and I totally dreaded it because her eyeliner is always on point and mine is just not even there. So, no, I'm teasing. No, I'm not really teasing. That's true. So anyway, but that's not the reason I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to meet with her on Zoom because I'm really bad about multitasking. Okay. So you can ask Dawn. She was like, is your garbage disposal running? And I was like, no, that's my garage door. I'm walking my dog. I'm always doing something while I'm talking to you. And it doesn't mean that I'm not giving you my focus, but I just really like to be busy and I don't like to sit. But by sitting down and Zooming with my success partner, I have no choice but to look at her and to have a notebook and to be totally, completely dedicated to that conversation. And to actually take what she has to say for me, take things that she thinks I need to work on. If I'm looking her in the eye, then I've got to do it, right? It just raises the accountability a little bit higher. So that's something that I recommend doing if you have a success partner and you can work something out so that you're Zooming and giving each other your full attention, especially if you're like me and you're a little ADD. I think that's helpful. So cool. Okay, so if you are an Emerald and above, I live streamed in the Diamonds in the Rough page prior to this call, so make sure to check that out at some point. If you're in the Stronger Together training, there were a lot of posts today in there. So we've got worksheets, we've got all kinds of stuff. We're working on our avatar. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Spread the word tomorrow. Yep, go for it, Erin.
Happy birthday, Dawn.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Just had to throw that out there. Thank you.
Can you sing to her?
Oh,
no,
God, yeah.
no.
I wanted it to be happy.
I don't know if so all day, like the highlight of my day was that I was going to teach Insanity tonight. So I don't know if they were as excited for my birthday workout because I was all jacked up. And I even said, I didn't even have Energize tonight. So yes, I just killed my class. That's all.
Did you get to have cake?
No, there's no cake for June.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but I did take a dark chocolate bar because I was like, well, I got to have something, and it's my birthday. So we shared a dark chocolate bar at the end, and we only really shared like a quarter of it. So,
You should
yeah.
make a shake and put a candle in it.
I know.
That's
what I'll
birthday shake.
Yes, I should have done that. Where were you this morning?
Yeah, too funny. Yes, happy birthday, my dear. And thank you, and thank Erin for being on here. I know that you guys put some time into this, and I appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. The recording will be up tomorrow. Tag your coaches. Have a good night.